welcome everybody back to our latest edition of In the Stacks with Julia and Christina. Today we have a very special guest with us, Dan from the Circulation Desk, and he also works as one of our home reader representatives. So we are so happy to have Dan because Dan has a very eclectic taste in books.
I like weird things.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I will say I'm so happy to be here on In the Stacks with Julia and Christina without Christina, because I'm the new Christina.
You are excellent, Christina.
I'm a good Christina today.
So, as you know, In the Stacks, we just talk about books that we're currently reading, books that may be on our to-be-read list, or books that we are rereading, and just talking about the things that we like about the books, and hopefully this will encourage you to try them out too. So, Dan, what do you have today?
So the very first thing that I have here is one of my absolute favorite books of all time, and this is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman.
Ooh, love Neil Gaiman.
You know what I love? Books that only have a grand total of 179 pages.
I understand that you have a thing against books that have over 1,000 pages.
1,000 is, it's a no for me. I can't do 1,000. It's too many. I need a quick read, and I need the feeling that I get afterwards that I've accomplished something.
A feeling of accomplishment, yes.
Why read one book when I could read 5?
You like short stories too, don't you?
I do. I love short stories, and I love things that are short to the point, and I can fit in during the day, because sometimes I'm busy.
Exactly.
But
believe it or not, people that work at the library do not sit around and read all day.
No. That is the biggest misconception that we have encountered in our working lives, is that I sit here all day and I just read.
That would be great, though.
I sit here all day and add books to my to-be-read pile because people bring them to me and tell me about them. But
yeah, my to-be-read pile is just humanly impossible at this point.
Well, I think that's the point. More books than you can ever finish.
Exactly.
But the thing that I like the most about this one is that it really tells a really nice story. And it's a little bit spooky, so it's a little bit Halloween-y, but it's also really heartwarming at the same time.
I love his books.
And the thing that I think that I enjoyed the most about it was that I learned that it was actually a children's book when it was originally pitched.
Oh, okay.
So the idea was that the storyline was going to be a children's book because the main character is a child. And it made sense that it would be a children's book, but I think it shines better as a adult fiction novel instead of a children's book.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more that you can get out of it. It's my favorite gift to give people because I just think it's a really nice book, and the story about it is it's really telling. Like, you can really look at it and say, it's about looking back into your past, looking ahead into your future, looking at the things that scared us and what doesn't scare us now, and overcoming that type of adversity, but it's all hidden in this very short, very...
So it's narrated by a child?
Not even necessarily narrated. So the character themselves goes through a transformation, where they're transported back to a period of time where they are a child. So
okay.
It's like a memory.
Because I haven't read that one.
Really?
No, I haven't.
I really assumed that you would have. That's why I was talking like you knew what I was talking about.
I have not read that one. I read Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book.
Which is also
one of my favorites. It's really a quick read. It has like a whole cast of really interesting characters, and most of them are not alive, and I think that's really cool.
I just like books that have to deal with witches. I like books that have to deal with paranormal. I like things that are spooky, but also fun.
Yeah.
And that's everything that's in here.
Yay.
I really find that he does a really great job at doing visual imagery, so I might not have seen it, but in my head I've seen the movie. But that's because of how it's written.
I like his too because it's enough of normalcy that you can relate to it. But it's just that little bit of fantasy that you could believe that fantasy could be real.
100%.
Exactly.
I really like it.
The books that I'm reading currently, one of them is by Iona Wishaw. It's a part of a series. So she has like 9 books or 8 books that she's written. And it's all about post-World War II. It's set in BC in a little tiny place called Kings Cove. Again, a very cool cast of characters. I love all the people in the little tiny town. They're all older than her, and most of them were there since before World War I. So I like the time setting. I like the fact that all the characters are really interesting and quirky, and there's mystery. So at the very first book, she finds a dead body. And so every book after that, it's either she finds a dead body or she helps to investigate a murder or somebody's missing and then they get murdered. So yeah, it's constantly a thing going on. So she falls in love with the police detective from the nearby town. And in the book that I'm reading now, they get married. It's so cute. I just love it. It's got a little bit of romance. It's got like the setting is my cup of tea. I love World War II, Great Britain, that kind of era. Because I can imagine the clothes and the cars and the setting. Like you said before, you know, it's a movie in my brain.
Yep.
I love it. So I'm currently on the 7th book. The 8th book is just come out, and the 9th book is due out in 2022. So it's Iona Wishaw. It's the Lane Winslow murders.
That sounds exactly like you.
It is.
It sounds
totally
like a book
me.
that you'd love. And if I saw it, I'd send one of those emails where I'd say, Julia, I think you'd like this.
You put it on hold for me. Yes, you would.
I would.
So I also like all the titles are very alliterative.
Oh, of course. I expect nothing less.
I know. And I'm just like, the first one is A Killer in King's Cove. And then there's one, A Death in a Darkening Mist. And then so there's the one I just read was, what was it? Deceptive. I can't remember the last of it, but it was like an alliterative title. And all the covers are very illustrated covers. So the illustrative, graphic looking, very in tune with like the Art Deco look. So I like a book that you won't be embarrassed being seen in public reading.
I do not feel the same way. I have never been embarrassed, nor will I ever be embarrassed. Let alone by something that I'm reading.
But I just like an attractive cover on a book. I can't help it. But that is like my all-time favorite. Well, in the last couple of years, has been really my all-time favorite series. So the Lane Winslow Mysteries by Iona Wishaw, and she's a Canadian author, and she based her books on her mother. So her mother apparently was a spy in World War II.
Hopefully not a spy in World War II who was around that many murders in a small town.
No.
Because that sounds a lot like murder she sat down and she wrote. And every week, I really think that Jessica Fletcher was the one who was committing all those murders.
She was just setting them up just so she'd have something to write about.
She needed a plot.
She did.
And she was getting it whatever way she could.
I know. She's just deceitful kind of.
You heard it here first. We think that Jessica Fletcher did it.
She did. Okay, so what's your next one?
Well, speaking of covers that you're not embarrassed to have in public.
I love that.
So this is Hyperbole and a Half. So you have to remember a time frame. So this is 2008. Millennials are coming of age, and we're learning about the internet meme culture.
Oh, yes.
And so we're learning about a series of a way to look at media that's through pictures. So what actually it was this was actually a web comic. And so this is a web comic by Ali Brosh, and she created it, and it was probably the most intimate look into someone's life that I could have ever seen. And I never would have expected it to actually come through
a comic. Wow, okay.
So she talks about unfortunate situations, flawed coping mechanisms, mayhem, and other things that happen. But she does it with the most rudimentary photographs humanly possible. So you'll see she looks here, and it's...
Yeah.
I drew it in MS Paint in 5 minutes, but it's somehow she's made this one of the most relatable things. And a lot of people that I've known, gone to school with, and grown up with, we all know exactly what this is. And it's a really nice way to look at somebody's life and feel it inside. And I know this has been a tool that a lot of people my age have looked at for
I know that they've had
growth.
it as required reading.
It is.
Yeah.
And so the thing that was the most unfortunate was that after she wrote this and collected it all together, I don't want to say she fell off the face of the earth, but she fell off the face of the earth for that. Like, she's completely stopped putting together materials.
Oh, that's too bad.
But I think it was because a lot of work went into this and a lot of her heart and soul, and after that, there just wasn't enough left to give.
Yeah.
And so we knew there was a sequel that was coming for years. And I remember refreshing the website saying, okay, we're going to get it in 2009, 2010, 2011. And then, I don't know, last year we finally got it.
Yay!
10 years later, we got Solutions and Other Problems, which I think is a great way to look at it, because the first one was unfortunate situations and flawed coping mechanisms. But this one really seems like a positive.
Well, something to kind of like
It was, I don't want to say a bookend, but but a
would
bookend.
it. Yeah, it bookended it. Yeah.
It bookended it, and it was one of the best things that I've ever gotten. I think I haven't. I bought this book on the day that it came out, and I haven't done that.
Yes, you know what? It was like when Harry Potter first came out,
Yeah.
and you had to have the first book. At
I
the
had
first
to
time.
go. I had to go and get it. I had to buy the one that didn't have a sticker on it because I needed to keep it.
Yes.
Now, did I open that book? No. Did I wait until I got the copy from the library? Absolutely. Is that book still home on my shelf and I haven't touched it because I've treated it with too much reverence? Yes. But that's what the library's for. And I've really appreciated it because the art style has changed. It's a little bit more, but at the heart of it, it's exactly what it was when it happened. It's the exact memory that I have of being 18 years old, sitting in my bedroom, reading a webcomic on my laptop. And I've really, really loved it. And I think that anyone else who's read Hyperbole and a Half really needs to go out and pick up Solutions and Other Problems. Put it on hold at the library. You really need to read it. I don't even want to tell you about it because I loved it so much.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out for yourself.
And I know that there's a lot of other people out there who are in my age group or older or younger who are really going to relate to it because it's a really relatable piece of media. And I love that.
That was awesome.
What about you, Julia? What else you got?
So
Is it another World War II mystery?
No.
Oh,
It is
wow!
not. It's a nonfiction book, and it's called London Fog,
Uh-huh.
a biography.
Okay.
So this woman took a meteorological phenomena, treated it like a person, and talked about it in a book. It's really interesting. I love London. I love England and Britain and that kind of thing. And so when this book came across as a new book, our coworker mentioned, she said, "Oh, this looks like a book for you." And she handed it to me, and I really like it. It's by Christine Corton, and like I said, it's London Fog, a biography. So it starts with that whole concept of the London fog, the misty, Victorian era, yellow sulfurish kind of fog that is kind of like sinister and that kind of, like this thing is like in people's brains. So if you say London fog, that's the first thing that people think of.
I think of Jack the Ripper.
Exactly, Jack the Ripper. So she takes all of this kind of like hype and media about London fog, and then she goes back and she talks about how it evolved.
Yeah.
And I found that very interesting. Some people might not, but I love that kind of thing. And I thought it was really interesting how she took, like I said, a meteorological event or a meteorological situation and turned it into a person. So she said London Fog, a biography. So it's from the beginning of like the Victorian era, and she talks about how Queen Victoria wanted to do something about the pollution in the London fog because she didn't like the London fog. And it's just a really interesting book. It's got a lot of historical references to it. It's well researched, and it's nonfiction. So that was my last book.
I love that we both chose a fiction and a nonfiction. We know what we're doing.
I know. Look at us.
We're varied. We don't just like the same things.
We don't. We don't like hardly any of the same things. But we are also really good friends, and we enjoy reading, and we love working at the library, and we hope that you can find something that would interest you at the library. And if you can't, you can always come and ask the staff, and we'll be happy to help you. Thanks a lot, and enjoy your day.
Thanks, everybody. I'm Christina. Bye-bye.